And then, you know what, I got this, friend who is going to be an entrepreneur and has some questions. And then, something in a year that becomes a client. Like, that's the thing. Accountants need to be farmers. We need to be farmers. That's it. Like, I mean, you got to farm. I mean, I've gotten opportunities from farming and it's really rewarding, like, it's like, wow, man, like keeping in touch with that person for 18 months or just
let's say you're scared, you're afraid to make a video or even a voice recording.
I'm afraid right now. Like, are you kidding me? Like, people are gonna watch this. Like, it's. I don't think. I mean, anyone that's at a keynote or anything, I'm sure they feel the same way. Like, I would have to imagine, right? Still need to have that technical background, and places like that could use a guy like me. You know what I'm saying? Like an advisory type to make sure their stuff is tight. That's more opportunity. They can pay me a reoccurring consulting fee. That alone for me is a huge business. Reviewing stuff just to say, hey, do this, do this, do this, do this. You got to do your AR, right? Make sure your AR ties out. Don't look for credits. If you got credits, they're deposits. You want to put those deposits on your balance sheet or you want to put those deposits on your AR aging? Like, are you looking at this? Like, you looking at your bank reconciliation? I just took a look at it and I saw checks that were outstanding for 9 months. Have you investigated those? Because those are part of your processes and procedures. You have payments for loans. Are you breaking out the interest piece? Are you breaking out the principal? Do these things tie out on a monthly basis? Do you want your books on a cash basis or on an accrual basis, right? Like, some people do a little mix. They'll do the AR and the AP, right? But then they won't do, they won't do other things, which is fine. Like, that's how I keep my books and records.
Of course.
But you have a credit card? Did you download the credit card? You know what I'm saying? Like,
so today we have Justin McAuliffe on the show. He's an entrepreneurial CPA out of Long Island, New York. And his practice is called CPA Enterprises. He specializes in getting clients a set of awesome books, really streamlines the process for them, as well as outsourcing CFO services, controller services, that type of thing. Now, I digitally met Justin, or JMac, on Twitter initially, and then from Twitter met him on Instagram, and then from Instagram added him on LinkedIn last night. So you guys can kind of see how it works. I don't know much about him myself. All I know is that he posted 2 videos up. I thought they were awesome, and I said, man, what is this guy planning? Because I know he's going to do something here. So let's learn about Justin today. What does he have in mind? And yeah, let's get it right into it, Justin. First 2 minutes, tell us a little bit about who you are. You've got this far. You have a practice. You're experienced. I got a chance to look at your LinkedIn, at your website. So tell us a little bit more. To me, I look at the accountants who are marketing, right? And to me, you just popped up on the scene, right? So who are you, Justin?
First of all, I just want to thank you for having me on. Much appreciated. And those kind words, again, we haven't met, but I certainly appreciate it. First thing I want to make clear, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I'm just doing the things that feel good. And honestly, I've been doing this for literally almost a month, like a little over a month. And we've already connected, like you saw on Twitter. And honestly, like last month, I just started trying to look for accounting content on Twitter. And as well as I do, there's absolutely nothing on there. So I just said, you know what, man, F it. Let me just go on. Let me just see if I can engage in conversations with people. And, some went a little bit, some went nothing, but eventually it did lead me to you. So, and here we are today. So, who knows what's in store. I know I'm doing something right because I know there's not a lot of stuff out there in terms of what we're doing. It's just also not a very sexy industry. It's also not really something that anyone is looking to do. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. You got to learn to balance your checkbook first. Like, that's like a bare minimum,
No, love it. Love it.
All right. So that's the interview. All right, man. Good talking to you.
So great. We have Justin's secret. He saw nothing out there. He tried something and great stuff happened. What do you know?
But you know what it is too? Like, from that, I guess if you want me to just keep going, and that's, I mean, I can talk a lot too. So just, say, yeah. So, from that, I was thinking, here's my plan. Like, my initial plan is this. Like, I want to try to drive conversations on Twitter. I want to try to drive conversations about accounting content and tax and give it away for free. Like, I'm not trying to get somebody to sign up for a class or buy my book or anything like that. What the hell am I? Like, nobody knows who I am. And who knows if I'm telling the truth or not, honestly. Like, and you got to establish yourself, and you got to give a reputation. And nowadays, like, you have to build a brand, whether it's personal or corporate or whatever it is, around social media and the internet and being connected to the world. You got to go outside your comfort zone. Like, even this today, like, it's my only first interview I've ever done. And this is, you know, I you know, whatever it is, but like, you got to do it. And if nobody else is doing it, and I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there, like I said on my video, if you can figure out how to just form a company and figure out how to understand your tax returns and just understand your financials and just understand like what a report is, what bookkeeping is. You know, when people work with me, when my clients work with me, I challenge them, like, they have to understand their P&L. Otherwise, what are you paying me for? You know, like, if you're not going to take my financial and accounting and tax and all this advice, then why are you paying me, number one? And number two, it's really like, it's scary to people. Like, it's a very unknown area. And I do feel very strongly that there's a tremendous amount of folks out there that are just not doing that step because of what we do for a living and the perception of the industry, so to say. You know, the term I like to use, I mean, actually, I don't even want to say that. I'm not going to say the term, but like, there's a lot of people, I caught myself saying that was very good. I'm learning. You know, there's just, it's a different breed, you know, man. Like, I didn't have to memorize the IRC, the Internal Revenue Code. I didn't have to memorize GAAP. I didn't have to, well, GAAP, you know, whatever. I didn't have to memorize that stuff because I had Google. Like, I'm able to spend my time wisely and better, not looking up different rules, but like knowing them and at least knowing there's something that needs to get drilled into. Like, that's, you don't need to know everything technically, but you do need to know that there's something there that needs to be addressed. And, you know, I think with that, there just creates a tremendous amount of opportunity. So like, again, I guess that's what I'm trying to tap into. I'm trying to look if I can just build some following around entrepreneurship. And if it starts with guys like you and me, right? Like, just doing something a little bit different, and then bam, there's just this like slew of S corporations that are formed, and then bam, man, like, that's changing the world, right? Like, that's giving people an opportunity to do what they want and not have to suck the corporate boob, so to say, you know. And a lot of people are miserable with that, and they hate it. And I've been there. Like, I was at, you know, a firm, like, I'm not going to say their name, but a mid-sized firm, you know who they are. It was good, man, but I was working a ton of hours, like 90-hour weeks. I wasn't seeing my kid. For what? Like, this is Long Island, and I'll say what I made, like $100,000. But again, this is Long Island. That's not a lot of money around here. Like, it's just not. Everything is expensive. And for what? I have no quality of life. And I really feel like I was working for free. Not really feel. I was. The amount of time that gets written off on these freaking engagements is ridiculous. Like, absolutely ridiculous. And you know exactly what I'm saying. Like, we come from the same cloth. Like, people don't understand this. Like, I don't even think there should be a tax season. Like, the fact that there even is a tax season is mind-blowing to me, because the only reason why we do have one is because it's churn and burn. We're not getting paid what we should be getting paid because we're all cutting each other's throats for business. But I'm not building my practice on that. No effing way.
Awesome. Love it.
No, but anyway, yeah.
No, yeah, you touched on a lot of great points there. And one thing that I do want to point out from that was when you touched on, you know, the way or accountants are reaching out to people to try to help them with something that's very scary, which is their taxes, which they may not want to talk about. You throw online discussions in there too, and they don't necessarily want to talk about that online either. But I'll make you think about this here. They do want to talk about money, right? So, and that's what I think attracts people at the most basic level, because actually 2 days ago, and I'm glad you said that, you made me think about that, because I just remembered this. I was looking at financial advisors and people that simply just talk about money, not accountants, and they can't call themselves an accountant, right? When they're marketing, but they do talk about taxes. And I was going back to your video. You went over one of the forms, I think, for S Corps, right? And then you had another video kind of introducing yourself, right? That stuff, like the introduction video, I thought was awesome. I want to pick your brain more on the other video, because I do see certain types of financial advisors just with so much following, giving tutorials, and they're not an accountant.
But when you're saying that, if I may, and I'm sorry to cut you off, they're not an accountant, but are you also saying the content they're providing and they're offering is not very valuable either? I would have to imagine.
It's not the most technical. It's not the most technical. It's not going to have all the tips, all the nuances, things to think about, right? Because when you're making a video about maybe filling out a form, you're also telling the viewer, okay, well, giving examples, maybe you're thinking about this, maybe you're thinking about that. Whereas someone who's pretty inexperienced might just win off of entertainment value alone, which is scary. Isn't that scary?
I don't know. Is it scary or is it exciting? Is it scary because it's new?
So I think it's exciting for the accountants to realize that, hey, along with this education, just like in some classes nowadays, you have just got to make things entertaining. I don't think it's an option anymore to make things entertaining. That's why, even though with this interview, I have a process of going through the story, but you just wanted to talk about some points. So I just let you go ahead and talk, because things need to be entertaining, right? And we'll go over more of your story in a minute, actually. But what are your thoughts on that? You know, what I just said, entertainment, people that don't know as much in the accounting space or in the financial space in general, winning a bunch of views and notoriety, with entertainment being their biggest strength, not technical skills or advice.
Well, we don't get many views, right? Because not many people are watching this stuff yet. So hopefully,
not yet.
Right? And second of all, I think I have 500 views on my commercial, and I'm pretty sure my wife was 498 of them. So
that's awesome. There you go.
Her kid and her daughter. No, I'm kidding. But look, entrepreneurship is cool, right? If you're not going to make the NBA or play play baseball or be an actor and actress, right? Like, everyone's got a talent, everyone's got a skill, everyone has something they can monetize, and there's a tremendous amount of technology with Etsy and Facebook and Twitter and I mean, there's just so much you can do to get things out there. The entertainment is non-negotiable. The attention span, the need for constant, it's attention, right? I mean, we're all looking for attention. There's no way about it. Like, we're looking for attention. We're looking to get likes. We're looking to get views. We're looking to get advertisers' attention. And if they like what we're doing, maybe you can do something with them and monetize that, right? Like, this is a monetization opportunity, but you and I both have technical skills. It also drives traffic to our technical trade. The S Corporation, my video on how to fill out an S Corporation, but first driven by the fact that you can form a corporation very easily, then also apply for an EIN, and then fill out this federal form. Look, I mean, I get it, man. I appreciate the hustle of people. I really, really do. And I appreciate and I respect when people want to make money on their craft. So I'm not bashing anybody. But in the same sense, like, charging $250 on like a how-to, to me, it just doesn't seem valuable, because I do it for you for $250. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's like not a lot of money. That's very inexpensive. And you go to where you used to work, what would they charge, right? Like thousands upon thousands of dollars. So for me, I did my best. Like, it's only my second video, and yeah, there's mistakes, and yeah, you know, whatever it is. And by the way, in the commercial, because I know this was like a thing of controversy, in the commercial, I'm testing my microphone. Like, that's what I'm doing. Like, some people thought I was doing other things, and I wasn't. Like, I'm testing my microphone, guys. Like, you can see it. Like, I'm blowing into it. Like, I'm testing my microphone.
There you go. Like, clarified.
Right? Like, and it's family first, man. Like, and we all want to spend more time with our family. And there's a lot of accounting firms that are just pushing out, like you were saying, like that surface content, right? Going back to the financial advisors. I remember, it's crazy. Like, when you were bringing it up, it reminded me of a story. I was at a networking event in Manhattan, I don't know, over the past year. It's probably about a year ago. And this financial advisor came up to me, like super aggressive, ton of energy, really nice enough guy. But he just starts like, regurgitating tax knowledge or advice. And I'm like, dude, and I said this on like a group of people, and they're looking at me, and he's talking, and I'm like, dude, I don't honestly, like, I all due respect, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, he was mixing so many different like things, and there's like this jambalaya of tax and financial stuff. Here's the scary thing, man. People are listening to that, like, and they're taking that advice. And I'm like, holy crap, this guy is in a networking group with a whole bunch of other professionals. And let's be honest, the CPAs that know this stuff have zero personality. Like, they're not really, like, they're not, I'm a unique guy, you're a unique guy. Like, I mean, us accountants with this kind of stuff is not very common. So that's why it's kind of scary. But like, you got to grab the attention. You got to give out technical content. You have to give it away for free. Period. End of story. Like, how to do this, how to do this, how to do this. H&R Block is an absolute joke. Like, it just is. Like, when people go there, it is. Like, and listen, I shouldn't even have mentioned their name. And
right.
everybody pays income tax. Everybody. Federal and state, some even local, some city, right? I mean, there's a lot of income tax that's paid. That is your money. That is the working dollars, the time that you have sacrificed in your day to earn money for your family. And you don't even understand where it goes. Like, you don't even understand how it works. You just think like, oh yeah, my accountant, he gets me a ton of deductions. I get this huge refund at the end of the year. I'm like, yeah, but does he explain to you that like that's an interest-free loan to the government, and that's $6,000 that you had? Like, you remember when you worked all those hours to pay for that vacation or that birthday party or whatever it was? Like, or not even that, better yet, you could have invested that into some kind of vehicle that would help grow it, like a 529 plan or some kind of state education plan or anything there is. But instead, you're going to give it to Uncle Sam so they can buy stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that kind of stuff. That's free. Like, that's not mine. I didn't proprietize that. I learned it, and I learned it from other professionals who learned that from other professionals. But here's what I disagree with: profiting off it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, that's kind of where I feel. And like, I think that drives the entertaining piece. And I think that drives engagement among the accounting world and industry. And I think from that, you know, guys like ourselves and other guests you've had and other people that are out there, it's just a lot of opportunity. My brand is going to be built around getting small businesses off the ground. I'm legit at bookkeeping. Like, I'm just really good at it. And I like financial statements, and I like when they're tight, and I like when they agree and tie, and I can review them with people. Like, a general ledger that is just organized. It's just it's just great. Like, it's just how you run a business. And I enjoy that. And I'll get those opportunities, but also it's not fair for me to hold that when people can do it themselves. And then I can grow my own personal brand on that, right? So like,
right.
And I have other businesses. Like, I don't just have CPA enterprises. Like, that's my technical trade, but I'm also an operational person. Like, I'm really good at operations, and that provides other opportunities. So, you know, and a lot of this is coming from social, like, where we're going to be, where I'm going to be in a year, where you're going to be in a year, where this industry is going to be in a year. Like, you know, I mean, there's a lot of guys on there. Like, there's a lot of people doing stuff. I've found them. I've connected with them. Nobody's really doing anything of traction, and we're all getting some stuff, and I respect the hell out of it. Like, but something's not there. Like, I mean, you know, 50,000 views, like, that's not enough, man. Like, that's got to be tight. Like, people got to be able to go to this, like, it's Google, and just have this how-to 8 minutes, 10 minutes, even an hour. Like, I mean, invest the time. Like, it's tuition. Like, your time then is invested. But your comments, and I want to just circle back and just, it's got to be entertaining. Period. End of story. Like, it has to be. Otherwise, you're not going to get the attention. People aren't going to watch it. They're going to check out. And to be frank, like, I've been doing this like boosted stuff on Facebook and looking at the analytics and the data, and it's fascinating. I don't really understand it yet, but even I think I'm so awesome and entertaining, people will check it out pretty quickly. So like, even there, like, I'm not doing something right. So, you know, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. But
yeah, I think you said a lot of great things there. And I mean, if for the listeners out there, if you're listening to that and you're like, well, I don't know if I'm entertaining right enough. That's the dangerous word. I don't know if this is good enough. Guys, like, look behind me. Like, I'm in a white room right now. This is my office room. I like Justin's office back there. It looks awesome. He's got his logo back there, some nice branding. But guys, if you're trying to say, oh, well, I need to be funny to be entertaining, that's not true, because this episode that me and Justin are making right now, there might be some humor in it just because of discussion, not because we're out here just trying to tell jokes, right? Just accounting jokes. And so that's another thing with entertainment. I mean, the first few seconds of this episode, you'll see it when it's edited. It'll probably, for the first 5 to 10 seconds, have one of the most interesting parts, right, of the interview. And then it starts so that they can watch the entire interview, because it'll be like a 45 to hour long discussion. And I want people to at least listen to the first 3 minutes, because if you listen to the first 3 minutes or first 30 seconds, then you can watch or listen to the rest. It's more likely to happen, right? And hey, I'm working with someone right now from, you said you mentioned all those guys that are doing content and things like that right now, right? I just recently started working with someone that is doing content. They're in the 40 under 40 for CPA practice advisor, right? That type of thing. And they told me that they have all this content coming out. They said they only want to keep it from 6 to 10 minutes, just so that they can get the concepts fast, because people won't pay attention. Now, check this out. Here's what I do. I don't care. I don't care about any of that. If they want to watch a 30-second, 60-second video, that's on Instagram. I'll probably put 1 to 2 minutes to 4 minute videos on YouTube as well. But the thing that I think is needed in the accounting space all over, for me, it's a marketing thing, but for all of you accountants out there, it's completely, there's so much dialogue to be talked about in the accounting space to the client, to talking about different issues that they're looking at, whether they're a taxpayer or a business owner, right? Just some simple tax forms or complicated tax maneuvers, right, that they can possibly pull off. I imagine people would find, once you start coming out with a lot of content yourself, they're going to find it helpful. But here's my thing, and here's where I think I'm going to really do some damage as far as putting out a lot of content. It looks like I'm putting out a lot of content. Well, I am putting out a good amount. I'm not putting out as much as I want or as much as I know is needed. And I know you touched on a lot of points here, and I want to get to them. So bear with me. But you said that you need to put it out for free, right? You need to. Now, here's the thing. You don't need to, but you do need to do that if you do want to grow or get those views, right? Be the most well-known in the space. I mean, people on LinkedIn right now are saying, things like, you're out of control, Juan, right? We love this, right? And it's strictly because I'm just putting out more stuff than anyone else that's talking about accounting marketing. And if they're putting out stuff, even though it might look fancy or it might look highly produced, I mean, I'm not going to be the judge here, but people that are watching my stuff, they're leaving comments that are not on the other guys' stuff. And I don't want to get into competition talk here, because really there's no need to in a market like this, because no one is doing anything. Basically, I'm barely doing anything. And the reason that they're going to be able to say that, okay, you're coming out with a lot of content right now, here's my trick. It's not a trick. I mean, it's not a secret either.
Don't give away your tricks.
I've already said it. My trick's up my sleeve. So all I do is record a long piece of content just like this. Then if the hardcore viewers want to watch the whole interview, they will. I've just picked up a client that said he watched hours worth of stuff, right? So when you have someone like that watching your stuff, the first time you meet them on the phone, they want to work with you. And so it's a done deal by then, because for you, Justin, when you, right. Some closing techniques are involved. Okay. But so when people are watching your stuff, there might be those do-it-yourselfers, right? That actually, they gain value by not having to use an accountant because it's something they can do themselves. But when they do need an accountant, guess who they're coming to?
And that's great. Like I took some notes because, again, like just to, you said a lot of things too that I want to comment on, but that's not a lot of people want to do it. Like they still don't want to do it. Like, they can understand it at least. And then at least they know the value of it, right? Because there's a lot of people in this world that know the cost of everything and the value of nothing, right? But at least then with my video, and I touch on that at the end, and I even said, this video is meant for you to do it on your own. But like, if you're going to pay somebody to do it, pay me. And I don't charge a lot. Like it's less than $1,000. Like that's what I charge. And honestly, like, I think that's very fair. Like it takes my time. My time is valuable. Like I have a gross margin on that and I'm not going to apologize for that. But in the same sense, it's still a fair gross profit compared to other firms. And it doesn't take that much much of my time. I want to be fair on the billing, but again, like even going into this, I think we talked about this before we started recording or whatever, like, we're not getting paid for this. Like you and I are doing this right now. This is our time, right? This is our investment. This is our investment in what we love and what we believe in. And, you were saying it before, and I'm not sure if I agree or disagree, but I will say this, like in terms of the length of the videos, you kind of changed my perspective a little bit because I kept mine under 8 minutes because, again, it was a how-to and it's a dry subject. And honestly, That's what it was. Like I wasn't sure how long it was going to take, but actually that's what it was. So, okay, that's what it is. But then again, this is YouTube. This is the internet, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Like it's out there forever. Subscribe, comment, look at a piece of it, right? Go to that 6-minute mark, that 8-minute mark, whatever it is, and then just watch that piece over and over again. Like, if you're, watching my video on how to do the S Corp, like you figured out everything, but you're just really not sure how to figure out, that to fill out that EIN, like watch it again, maybe send a comment, like, that's really complicated. Like, I'm not sure if you've ever done that, but like that can get a little, there's some questions there that can get a little bit confusing, but then maybe they reach out and then maybe they say, oh, how helpful Justin was. And he was so nice. And, oh, thank you so much. And then, you know what, I got this, friend who is going to be an entrepreneur and has some questions. And then, something in a year that becomes a client. Like, that's the thing. Accountants need to be farmers. We need to be farmers. That's it. Like, you got to farm. I've gotten opportunities from farming and it's really rewarding, like, it's like, wow, man, like keeping in touch with that person for 18 months or just recently, like I was talking to a buddy of mine just before I hung up with, got on with you. He's a business owner, real estate. He flips houses, but he's got like a tremendous amount of other stuff that he does. And I've known him since I was like 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just, you stay in touch with on social media and I just followed him. And I've been doing this for a short period of time, but you realize, wow, like that's your network. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like your network is starting today, like right now, like you were born, like this is your network, and like, that's just the way this world is going to be. And the more you and I do this, you and I maybe could be the pioneers and the founding fathers or whatever it might be. And that's ultimately my goal. Like my goal in life is not only to be an amazing father, which I am, and that's the best job I've ever had. And it's the only job I've ever wanted. Like even when I was young, I remembered that's it. That's all I ever wanted to be was a father.
Awesome.
Not a CPA, right? So like, but that's kind of part of it because I take care of my businesses like they're my children. And I've not been successful. Like, don't think for 1 second that I'm sitting here. Like, I just had a really bad ending with a client relationship that lasted for 3 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, so every like, oh, this guy's so great. And like, boom, it ended in a second because that's just what happens. You don't know
that happens
working with them, But again, like your videos are, it's there. It's there. And then you can drive it. You remember it, right? Like it's your content. You produced it. You recorded it. You were the director, producer, everything, right? You did it all. Just like me. I do all that stuff myself. And it's hard, man. It takes a lot of work. Like those, it's like, and it's really frustrating and it's a lot. But, what I was going to say was like, then you can drive your video from 2 years from now. That's a lot better in production value. And then you can revisit that. right? You can
Yes.
revisit that and use that as a reference point, because really, how's that any different than the library? Right? Like that's what the library is, right? It's just, this is, there it is, right? Like, Juan, Justin, like got all this stuff, like other guys that are out there. And, I think that's really cool for opportunity. And I think you were saying before in terms of strategy, like there's plenty of opportunity out there, like an insane amount. We don't need to compete. Like seriously, we don't need to compete.
You just need
when
to go.
when there are these brick and mortar one-stop shop, and by the way, edit out what I said before. Don't even put that in there, right? Like, so just cut that out. Like those one-stop shop, brick and mortar, walk in, I'll write you a check right here. I negotiate your, like, those are an atrocity. I'm sorry. Like they just are. Like they are an absolute atrocity. They make us look terrible as a profession. They make it look easy. And that online accounting software, the online accounting softwares are even worse. Because then they show your small business owners how, oh, you just download and you just post it and it just goes in there. And it's like, oh, no. Like if they were that easy, man, like you would have gotten a degree in accounting, not engineering. You know what I'm saying? Like, and doctors are the worst in that. But in the same sense, I do really feel that those places devalue our industry.
Incredibly. And I'll jump on that real quick because I do get a lot of messages, DMs, inquiries about helping shops like this out. I guess that from what I've seen since starting this, and just yesterday, it was 5 months. So I've been here for 5 months talking to all these accountants, seeing really who is wanting this service. And more than anyone, it's those small bookkeeping shops that maybe, if you're lucky, they have a location in the US, and what they care about is marketing. They get the bookkeeping service or payroll service and they completely outsource it to wherever, really, without much care, right? So I would assume that the quality, I can't say for sure, but I would assume that the quality is just not there. It's most likely lacking. And so I have picked up or even entertained absolutely none of those, just because my big thing is the profession does need to be valued. Now, in that discussion, I think that, those shops that you were talking about that make the profession look bad, I think it's not that it's scary because things can change, right? But I do think that those types of people or those types of shops, they care about marketing a little more just because they need so a lot more, I would say, just because all they would care about is bringing clients in,
top line,
in and out. And so me, I don't have a course either, or even really anything to sell you just one off, right? I have a lot of free content online. I do use things, and that's one great thing about putting your content out for free is on top of client testimonials, you have external testimonials, which, if you're not putting out content or not putting out at least, let's say you're scared, you're afraid to make a video or even a voice recording.
I'm afraid right now. Like, are you kidding me? Like, people are gonna watch this. Like, it's. I don't think. I mean, anyone that's at a keynote or anything, I'm sure they feel the same way. Like, I would have to imagine, right?
Right. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna feel the same way whether I'm speaking in front of thousands of people, or in a elementary classroom teaching them about money. Right?
That's scarier,
right?
No, seriously.
It could turn into a disaster.
In front of 100,000 people, just because there's a lot of people you can just look at, and honestly, you can just pretend they're not there. Like you're fair. But an elementary school, like a small intimate setting, like around, like, oh Jesus, forget it. Like, and you do it because it's outside your comfort zone. But like, again, don't think for 1 second internally that heart rate's not racing and like you got butterflies in your belly. Like, I don't think that. I think people have said that, like Beyonce. I'm pretty sure, like, even the butterflies don't go away for them now. And like, think about the thousands of performances and the tens of thousands of views, but whatever it is, like that's not the point.
And
But
yeah, no, actually, you know what? To just go on that a little further, because I think it's important. I don't think people, when it comes to being scared or nervous of the video, I can understand that. Of the audio and doing a voice, where then you can maybe add, as simple as it gets, do the voice, then put a picture of yourself, and then just have subtitles, right? I mean, people already do that, and it works. I do that with some of my clients because they don't want to get on the video. That's fine. But it does, just having sound, period, it does reach a lot more people. Okay. It's not even a debate. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. Write your awesome articles. But I will say that sound, video, it just plays, people consume it more. Those are the statistics.
sounds good, looks good, feels good, right?
And look, if you're a business owner out there, an entrepreneur, an accountant, even just an accountant inside a firm, you have to communicate with clients, right? Think about it when you're working. You get on these phone calls. Some phone calls, a lot maybe, you're even just nervous for, right? So it's almost.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Especially the bad ones, like especially when you're about to get fired, or you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, those are great.
Exactly. And so that's the way I look at sort of these interviews. Or maybe if you've seen me make videos maybe by myself.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is telling these people, right, you viewers, the same thing that I would tell someone that, I'm talking to any other time. And so that's why I'm able to put out stuff, and I'm not super stressed out. I'm not reading a script, or I don't even have a presentation. I don't even.
It's got to be raw, man. Like, people want raw. Like, again, I tried. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'll see another comment. But like, I tried to do my last video like straight, no cut. Like, no way. Like, this is way better, right? This is more comfortable. Like, this is more natural. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like you were saying before, and Gary Vaynerchuk, I mean, he's, everybody knows him. Everybody watches him. Like, whether you're 18 or you're 50, like, everyone's watching him and paying attention. And, for me, I am too. Like, he kind of, he was some of the first stuff I saw. I'm like, wow, look at this guy. He's cursing and everything too. Yeah. Like, that's me, man. Like, I drop F-bombs and S-bombs. I don't know what kind of show this is. So I'm trying to be, I'm trying to be a good boy, which I think I have been. But in the same sense, like, he talks about that stuff. And if you're not comfortable in front of the camera, okay, then do the podcast, right? Like, write the articles, like, do what you are comfortable doing. And then maybe that'll be a foundation and a building block for you to eventually become confident to do that big stage presence. Or maybe you just find a niche and you're like, you know what, I'm good. Like, this is where I go. But I'm also a big believer that everybody in this entire world has something to offer. Right? I mean, it's just, it's just a matter of building that confidence to do it. And I think now more than ever, there is an infinite amount of opportunity for that. And again, Gary Vaynerchuk talks about that, right? Like, this is just a chip, like literally a chip on the iceberg. Like, this is just getting started, right? I mean, it's either going to be, I'm drawing a blank on the Terminator. Like, I say the quote all the time. What's the place, the center in Terminator? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I lost it too.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. But anyway, like, is that going to happen? I mean, I don't know. But in the same sense, like, and I was having this argument with my parents yesterday. Like, technology is here. Like, that's it, man. The old way of doing thing is over. Period. End of story. Get on board, or you're going to be left behind. And I'm not saying you have to love it. You don't have to. Like, Michael Kay talks about this show. Like, he's the Yankee announcer. Like, he hates some of the stuff that baseball does today. He hates it. And he says this on his show often, and he supports the old school guys. But in the same sense, what choice do you have? This is the way it is. The younger generation is the future, regardless if you love it or not. There are generations above us, like, I don't know how you are, but I'm sure around the same age, that are still blocking all of that. And that's a tragedy. And I think with this, that is able to, that can be either eliminated or innovated on or disrupted, or, like, I know there are people that I used to work with that are gonna watch this video, right? Like, and I'm talking to you guys, like, exactly who you are. Like, I've been saying the same stuff since I was at the bigger firm I was at. Like this, I mean, it's just a little bit different, a little bit more polished maybe, but I've been saying the same things, like the things I was saying about the writing off of the time. Like, it's not okay. It's just not. Like, and it starts and ends with the value people see in our profession. And something that you spoke about before that I wanted to touch on that's really, really super important. I talk about this all the time, like all the time. In my opinion, I think somewhere along the line, the bookkeeping became unsexy. It just became like a beneath you kind of person, right? Because there wasn't technology. There wasn't any outsourced remote opportunities in different countries that have a very low cost. And usually it went to an uneducated person to just do mundane activity, because that's really what it is. It's just mundane activity, entering data, right? And then it's my job to look at it, to make sure it's coded properly and posted and it reconciles and ties out and there's support and there's no, like, that's my job. But your job is to put it in. That job is now obsolete. That's gone. But going backwards, who wanted to do that? All the accountants wanted to be CPAs. Everybody wanted to go bigger and better, right? Like Arthur Anderson, how'd that work out? But like, KPMG, PwC, right? Price. I mean, there used to be a Big 10, there used to be a Big 8 or whatever, or I think it was Big 8, right? So like that was way before our time, but in the same sense, like that's what people wanted to be. They wanted to be partners. And then you go to school, you take a whole bunch of classes on accounting, and then you get recruited by the big sexy firms. They make you feel special, right? They make you feel awesome. This is our environment. You're going to be partnered. Oh, it's so great, right? You go on. The first year is freaking awesome. Second year is pretty good. Then all of a sudden you start getting responsibilities and they start shitting on you a little bit, And it's like, oh man, then you're making mistakes, but you're doing audit. You're doing trust and estate tax. You're doing state and local tax. You're doing, whatever it might be, but it's not bookkeeping. It's not. Like, it's just not bookkeeping, because we're relying on our clients to provide us with those books and records. Who do those clients hire? Uneducated, with all due respect, people that don't have degrees, are not an accountant, and they're relying on them to do the bookkeeping. Eventually, they're all number phobic for the most part. I would say a large majority of them are number phobic, and then they rely on the books and records from an untrained bookkeeper. I think from all of that, it became beneath people. I think I said that before.
Right.
And over the years, we've lost that entire skill. The foundation of what we do for a living starts and ends with debits and credits. Period. End of story. It's non-debatable. Like it just, from all the way up until the M&A to the huge, global tax function, like it's all relying on financial data. And there's a lot of firms out there, like, I know there's firms that are experiencing with AI, and there's a lot of online-based solutions, and everybody's tapping into this network. But I see, as a professional that does this all the time, these technologies are not that great. Even the QuickBooks stuff. Like, I know people love the online and there's a lot of great things about it, but it's based on the internet, and it creates problems because it's a little bit different than the regular QuickBooks desktop version. And it provides these clients what's called a dashboard. And the dashboard shows you a live snapshot of your business. That's great. Have you reviewed it? Did you look to see if anything was duplicated? Did you look to see if like the invoice you received was actually applied to your AR? Because if you didn't, did it go on the balance sheet? Did it go on the P&L? Do you think your expenses are this much higher and really they're not because something went on the balance sheet and you have no idea what a balance sheet is? Never seen one in your life. But you don't know that because you don't know what you don't know. And you're like, oh yeah, they said it was easy. They said it was great. Yeah, okay. It was some sales representative. There's attrition like every 6 months at these places. Like they sold you a bill of goods and they said it was going to be this. And then you realize, like just the other day, I was literally spent 4 hours trying to figure something out on QuickBooks online and I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Yeah. Like I had no idea. I gave up. Like because it's not fair. Like why should I have to spend my time? Like it's a tax controversy thing too. And again, going back to the dilution of the industry, we're not even, that 4 hours, what am I going to do? Charge my client for that? But I lost the opportunity to monetize that, right? So that's something that's got to get balanced out. I don't know what the answer is, but what I do know is that skill is gone. And again, like talking back to my old staff, we've talked about this. Like you can't even tie out retained earnings. like you don't even know what an accumulated deficit is, and you're going and preparing a tax return and tax work papers and audit work papers and whatever you're doing, and then you're giving it to a manager who just reviewed 24 tax returns, partner reviewed, ton of mistakes because I've been working till 3 o'clock in the freaking morning. And what? Like, you drop it on my desk and it's all wrong and you went home because you can't even do the accounting. So that's why I left, man. Like, honestly, like going to that, I saw a huge opportunity to tap into a market that used to exist. Well, it still does exist. That was kind of forgotten about. And I'm trying to bring that back home. Because I want to bring, because I know there are partners in these firms that don't even know how to do a journal entry. They can't even do an amortization schedule. They don't even know how to tie out depreciation to a fixed asset schedule. Like, that's stuff that's got to be common knowledge, you know. And part of my part of my goals with CPA Enterprises is to build those opportunities too. Like, I want to be able to give opportunities to people that don't have the degrees, because that's still a need and it's still mundane, but you can learn a lot better. You can work from home. You can do everything online. Like, you know,
Awesome.
I'm online. I'm wearing a nice shirt and jacket, but you know, I got pajama pants on, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like it's just what it is. Like, and you can do that from the comfort of your own home, and I can pay you whatever I can pay you. But this is one of my goals. Like, legit, I talked about this too. Like, I want to then be able to find those resources throughout the entire country. So this way I don't have to use, you know, remote staff, because with that low quality of professionals that are here in this country, and it's a very unfortunate, guys like myself, people that want to scale and grow practices, I got to use remote staff. I'm sorry. Like, I do. I have no choice. I want to see my family. Like, I want to spend time with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need people to do these things so I can grow on my business. Like, I want to grow. I have to grow my business, so I can't get stuck in the weeds. But I can't rely on any young professional, like kid out of college or somebody experienced, because they don't have the basic skills that I need, is just the book, you know? And with all that, if I can do that, right? And then if they love it, well, then opportunities are available. You can go get your degree, right? Like, you can learn how to do taxes. You like audit more, you like the testing. Like, it's a little bit better of a way to approach that career path, because I'm going to teach you what you absolutely non-negotiable, 100% absolutely need. Do you love it? Okay, great. Let's go see what we can do. Do you hate it? All right, well then just do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, or don't do it again. But there's a lot of people that are uneducated, that live in places that don't have an out, and they don't want to be an Uber driver or a Lyft driver, right? Like, if you want to have a real opportunity, guys, seriously, like, I'm talking to everybody in the world. This profession is so ripe for a ton of opportunity. Like, you want to get excited? You want to get really excited about this stuff? Seriously, no joke. You can be, and first of all, if you know how to do all that, like, you can literally do whatever you want. Like, I'm really good at what I do because I understand tax, accounting, audit, income tax. January 1st, December 31st, I understand all of that. And I also know what I don't know. So when I have to bring in heavy hitters, I can. But in the same sense, like, this is one of those unique industries, and I'm sure there's more, that not only has opportunity without any kind of educational background, it is a platform to build a career on if it's something you enjoy. And I want to do a program, 1 to 3 to 4, whatever it might be, right? And if people really, because if you nail the bookkeeping, like, it's easy to review. Once you figure it out, like, it's a skill, man. It's like whatever it is, like driving stick. Like, once you nail it, then you're like, oh, okay, now I see it. Your brain's thinking like that. You're good with numbers. And then, all right, I want to be a state and local tax, income tax expert. Fantastic. This is the career path for that. This is what you need to do. Like, you know, and that's what I want to do. And then you can go to get your degree, right? Like, if that's all right, let's get your degree. You want to go to Binghamton, you want to go to wherever, I'll pay for it. It's part of my investment in you, right? Because even if you then go become a full-time CFO or a COO in one of my clients, that's a huge benefit, right? Like, even if I lose all the billable hours that I invested in you, like $100,000, but then you become a stud, a superstar, and then I can place you at one of my clients full-time, and then maybe my fee goes down 90%. That's awesome. Awesome. Like, in my opinion, because that is exactly what I want to do. And I think the technology that's available is so untapped. Like, it's not being used properly. And there's so many companies out there that see that and they're making a living on it. Again, awesome. God bless you guys. Like, that is amazing. And you should all be very proud of yourselves. And that's really great. But you still need to have that knowledge. You still need to have that technical background. And places like that could use a guy like me, you know what I'm saying? Like an advisory type to make sure their stuff is tight. That's more opportunity. They can pay me a reoccurring consulting fee. That alone for me is a huge business. Reviewing stuff just to say, hey, do this, do this, do this, do this. You got to do your AR, right? Make sure your AR ties out. Don't look for credits. If you got credits, they're deposits. You want to put those deposits on your balance sheet, or you want to put those deposits on your AR aging? Like, are you looking at this? Like, are you looking at your bank reconciliation? I just took a look at it, and I saw checks that were outstanding for 9 months. Have you investigated those? Because those are part of your processes and procedures. You have payments for loans. Are you breaking out the interest piece? Are you breaking out the principal? Do these things tie out on a monthly basis? Do you want your books on a cash basis or on an accrual basis, right? Like some people do a little mix. They'll do the AR and the AP, right? But then they won't do, they won't do other things, which is fine. Like that's how I keep my books and records.
Of course.
But you have a credit card? Did you download the credit card? You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, guys like that know that stuff, can see that stuff. You know what questions to ask because things have to be put in place. Like there has to be a peg. And there's always a debit and a credit. That's the beautiful thing of the balance sheet because it balances every time. Balances every time. Everything on the I don't even look at a balance sheet. Like when I go out and prospect and I look at new opportunities, I look at the balance sheet and I look at the most recent bank reconciliations. And once I see those, that's how I know if the balance sheet's a little messed up and I see outstanding stuff on the bank recs, or if I see things not done, like I just know, oh boy, here we go. I'll look at the aging schedules. And then who knows? I'll just say, look, this doesn't look good. I'm not diving into the GL now. Like I look at the balance sheet, the 2 aging schedules, AR, AP, and then I look at the bank. I don't even look at the P&L. Like it's 1 year. Who cares? It's a P&L, right? I mean, if the balance sheet's tight, all the income and expense is over where the P&L where it needs to be. So at least I know my net loss or net income is correct. It's just all disorganized. So you know what I'm saying? Like I can do the balance sheet, please. Yeah.
And it can't afford to be disorganized. I mean, I work with a lot of startups too, and a lot of small businesses, right? In the first year to the first 3 to 5 years, that's just not they feel whether it's right or whether it's wrong. They feel like just paying attention to their accounting, paying attention to their books, getting a precise set of books down and those processes in place to make sure they stay that way. That's just not a focus. It's kind of a we'll worry about it next year thing. And then it turns to that same thing every year where they do get a pretty dang inexperienced bookkeeper or advisor, right?
Again, and it just, we can be redundant at that point because it just goes down to the fact that this industry is devalued. That's it, right? Like, and do you want to be proactive, right? You want to hire guys like us to make sure that this stuff is done right? Yeah, you're going to have to pay. You just have to pay. I'm sorry. But in the same sense, at least that is like apologizing for it to make money. But anyway, like, that's buttoned up. So that's great. But in the same sense, if you don't, 1 or 2 things are going to happen, right? Even if you scale and grow and everything else, something will blow up. People are going to steal from you because you don't have proper processes in place or protocols or procedures, right? Like you're going to get in trouble with banks because like, your financials aren't tight. And again, that's not everybody. There's a lot of successful businesses out there that don't need any of that stuff. And it's all internally, but it's the small businesses. It's the growth opportunity. It's those small foundational things that literally are the future. Who knows what can be innovated upon all of these companies, but if they don't have that building block, it's, what I'm saying? Like, and that all goes down to that value. Like, that's just what I think. It just goes all down to that value. And it's just there.
And then so if it does come down to that, I think people like you, Justin, you win because guess what? You're using the online environment to better communicate your value versus maybe only trying to do referrals or only trying to go to different businesses where you're located. I don't know if you serve virtual clients or not, but it's incredibly easy to nowadays. In some niches, they just they work locally, right? And they show up at the client's office for different. Even I know you do CFO type services. People show up I know accountants that show up at their local client sites for a lot of that stuff. Then something like bookkeeping, they'll even work virtually on that too. So I just think the versatility that is available, that is available through technology, it's awesome for people like you. And for inexperienced people, it's something that, frankly, some of them are taking advantage of to just get business, just maybe make a quick buck, because they can't even, I imagine for someone like yourself, someone that's giving out quality stuff, in the future, you're going to have a pretty killer set of clients. And really, you're going in the market, if it is getting diluted, saturated, whatever, you're going to be known for quality. So that's awesome. I'll put it like this. None of you accountants are going to trust the marketing company that comes in your inbox and says, oh, let me build you a web page, or let me get you so many followers, da 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 da. I have done absolutely none of that, because I understand what people, and it's a big thing for accountants to understand too, because I understand how people perceive things, right? So for you, for an accountant especially, to trust me and the people around me with your brand, AKA your reputation, one of the most important things for an accountant, I'm not going to get that off of one weird salesy DM, right? And so
No.
it's the same thing for accountants, right?
Really anyone, yeah.
You're not, yeah. And I say for accountants because it's dealing with people's money. So I mean,
well, this is CPA prime time, right? So it is, you want to talk, we're not going to talk about, basket weaving industry.
Exactly. we could. I could sell more basket weaving deals than.
I could, look. I mean, again, they need accountants, right? I mean, everyone does, but just to piggyback on that last thing, I think a lot of that comes with it's transparency. I mean, it's a word that's been thrown around a lot over the last several years, many years, right? But again, I think these are just buzzwords, man. People just use that for sales, like CFO services. You said that before. Well, what the hell does that even mean? Mm-hmm. Like, what is, I mean, I know what it means for me. What does it mean for you? Like, you just hire a CFO. Well, what does that person do? Like, are they just doing bank reconciliations? Because it's not really a CFO, And like, one of my businesses, I'm the COO, but I'm not really, I mean, actually, I really am, because there's a lot of work. But in the same sense, who the hell am I? Mm-hmm. I'm just going to start it. Like, I'm just going to sit there and give that title to myself. But in the same sense, for me personally, that's part of my brand. So that was intentionally done. Like, I don't say partner. I'm pretty sure I just say founder on CPA Enterprises. Like,
great.
I'm my own partner. Like, I'm the partner of I don't have
awesome.
It's just me. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I love that. I love where you're getting here, because I do see people in my position calling themselves a CEO. I'm very picky. I mean, I'm legally not a CEO. So I only call myself a founder, right? But I think transparency in the accounting industry can be communicated it can be communicated much better than it currently is right now to different clients.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I may, like, that's something we first talked about, and that's kind of my goal with social media, right? Like, again, I'm saying Twitter, I'm going to drive engagement. Like, I want to look for people I connect with, like yourself. I don't care if I get one like, no likes. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I don't give a crap, right? From that, I want to connect with folks like you. We can share each other's brand, use each other's platforms, right? Like, once I figure out my stuff, I can have you on my show. And again, 50 views, 60 views, who gives a crap? But with Twitter, I'm driving that to my CPA Enterprises Facebook. And again, like, for me, just to do a quick little plug, CPA JMac or JMac CPA. That's one of my handles. Honestly, I'm not sure which ones are which, but like, I know there's somebody that has it on Instagram. I don't remember which one. It's pretty close.
I'll link it below.
Yeah. That's fine. But like, the content, the technical stuff is on CPA Enterprises. I want to drive that through Twitter. I can't put the technical content on everything. Come on. Like, I can drive the videos and stuff, but I can use Twitter to drive engagement, to look for opportunities, right? Try to drive people to my website, a Facebook page where all my content is, like tax tips and rules. And again, like, people still need that stuff. It's dry, but I still got to produce it. But just to let everybody know, that's got copy and paste job for the most part. Like, these are the things, like, everyone that's posting all this stuff, okay, big freaking deal. You Googled it and you made a freaking Instagram. Congratulations. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, what is that really doing? It's not, but for me, like I put a little spin up, but again, that's not my goal for CPA enterprises. But with that, I want to drive people to my YouTube channel. And that's the ultimate goal, right? Like the ultimate goal is to get views, likes, shares on that stuff. Try to get marketing dollars from people that you want to believe in, like people that you can trust. Like all of us can grow our own brands and then we can support each other financially. Like that's the ultimate goal. But personally speaking, that's what Instagram's for. Like that's my personal account. Like that's actually a sponsored business account. But that's my personal life. Like that's a little glimpse into me. Like, just some cool stuff. Like I'm trying to be a little artistic and, I'm trying new dumb fun things and I'm playing around with the Facebook Live and stuff. But like, that's me. And I want you to know who I am. You're trusting me with your money. I can steal all of it. Okay.
Exactly.
I can. Like, see, I'm looking at it. I could steal your money. Like you hire me and you don't look at the stuff that I do for you. Like I can steal it all. People do it all the time. Like, have you not heard of Bernie Madoff? And that wasn't even accounting. That was just And why did that happen? Because nobody's looking at shit. Like nobody's looking at any of this stuff. Like literally, one of my mentors, David Sobel, like he's one of my, he's amazing. Like he's just been a huge mentor to me, and he's a C-suite professional, and that's a legit one, right? Like you were saying, CEO, that's C-suite for a reason. That's well, whatever. We're playing one on TV, right? But like, we just talk about that stuff all the time, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. So
I'll throw a few thoughts at you here for a quick second, because I see that through the course of this talk here, I kind of heard that you were taking a lot of time to make this stuff, right? These how-tos. For me, I chose not to do how-tos leading up. Maybe I'll do a few things here and there because maybe people are interested in something. And I'm going to do that through also sharing my screen, most likely using Zoom. I actually think that would be a good idea for you as well in some cases. And you can even, just to, not keep it too boring, you can even have your picture in the corner, right? So I think that's an incredibly quick way to share stuff. But I don't script my videos, and I don't do how-tos. So what does that mean? I just do interviews, or I will record thoughts. I'll record me on my phone calls, right? Whether I'm talking with a client or whether I'm trying to close someone. Maybe I'll gather a bunch of clips of me closing and like, here's what I say. And content like that would be very valuable for an accountant that doesn't know how to close to watch. On the other hand, if you recorded a conversation of you, maybe with a camera as well, while you talk to your client, you're going to say something genius to your client that is you keep your fiduciary duties, right? It's something that you can put out. So I think that's where Gary Vee's philosophy of documenting versus creating saves a bunch of time, because
that's a great point.
Like a lot of people here, I'm having to do business all day. Business, not making content, right? Not creating content all day. I'm not making money on it. And in fact, I'm not depending to make money on it anytime soon. I don't care about views.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't care about the views today. As a matter of fact, for the long videos, I do care about them in 1 year. For a simple post on Instagram, I care who saw it 5 days later, maybe. And that's really how it plays out. And if you get caught up in the minutia of, 36 likes today, that was better than 16 likes. Like, come on. Like, you've just got to put so much more stuff out. And the way that I do that and make it really easy for me is, I just record and document the things that I'm already doing, like discussions like this. We're about to go over our hour here, but you've had, if you're listening out there and you're in business,
I have a lot more notes.
Yeah, you've had business conversations that are planned for 15 minutes but go to 30 minutes, planned for 30 minutes but go to an hour, where some really awesome stuff was said. That's almost what simply recording your thoughts or recording a conversation, or even going as far to have a podcast, long-form discussion interview. That's what it does for you. And we talk about well, they talk about 6-minute, 10-minute videos, right? Because people won't watch the long stuff. I don't do it for people to watch. I do it so that me and Justin here, we can have a full hour to develop our ideas and develop our conversations. And there's going to be things that were said and thought about, points developed, arguments developed that could have never been said in 6 to 10 minutes, right? So
It's there forever.
yeah, I mean, if my accountants had more time here, I'd be like Joe Rogan and do a 3-hour long talk, right? I mean, come on, but I don't
set it up for next time. I'll keep my notes.
But no, I think
that, real quick, that drives it too, right? Like, ooh, more, right? Like it's
right.
Don't give it all, right? Like it's like a George Costanza thing. Like leave them want more, go out on a high note. Like boom, don't, because then you're gonna force it, like you were saying before, and it's not gonna be genuine.
Exactly, and I don't actually. I know who is watching these videos, and it's really people that do want to make moves, or they do want to get these tips. They might even be 3 to 5 years along in their accounting journey, and they still find value in this, right? And this person that I just talked about, the 3 to 5 year firm owner, right, or the one that's growing, they might be so busy that guess what? For them, I put the audio version of these talks an MP3 format, right? So they don't have to watch all our hand gestures, us sitting in the office. I'm very like, who am I, right? I don't expect anybody to just sit here and watch, even though I will market it and tell them, hey guys, we just talked about some of the best stuff. But but I don't.
And then 3 people watch it, and you're like,
right. Exactly. And no, I'm really fast. That 2-hour thing, 3-hour thing I went to, I'm just really fascinated with the current day opportunity to record and distribute these long form discussions and thoughts. And I'll throw one at you that'll help you out in even making how-tos, right? I just told you, I don't make how-tos. I think it'll, because of the nature of it, it'll just take too much time, right? If you
and
have
the industry too, it's very specific on industry, right? Like the forms I did, just to cut you off quickly, like that's easy stuff. Like that's a how-to because you can do it, right? I mean, it's filling out a form. Your stuff is completely different, and like you said, it's gonna take forever to do.
Yeah, and regardless if it's my industry versus the accounting industry, how-tos or not how-tos, what people want to hear, you talked about people that just put out kind of regurgitated information, I guess, right? So the video that you made, a video like that, or the information like that, it exists all over the internet. The thing is, and the reason that people will watch you is because it's information versus insight, right? So they don't just want information from you, because everyone posts the article, right? Or the step-by-step guide. They want your insights on why it's so important. And guys, I'm actually going to link that video that I'm talking about below, because if you watch it and you watch the first 2 minutes, I think, before he starts going off on the how-to, he creates context, okay? And so he says, exactly why it's so important. And what I believe, especially for accounting, something that to many people is mundane, right? It's the attention span. The attention span is a concern. You have to, starting out a video like that, he did it perfectly. Context.
I don't know about that, but thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, what is perfect, right? We're just out here going. But context makes them care. And so he set that video up nice. If you've ever watched an hour-long video from me, I quickly set the context and then I just go on whatever we're talking about, right? So, I mean, I don't know how much time you've got here, but if I could just get your quick story of why you even chose accounting, I kind of know why you started your own practice, but if you just want to go here for 5 to 10 minutes on, more about why you started, what's coming next, what is Justin's outlook on accounting, and why did he even choose accounting?
By the way, I mean, I'm good on time too, so as long as you need to go, I'll I'm good for a little bit. So it's up to you. But anyway, it's a really good question. I obviously get asked it all the time, and it comes down to this. I didn't know what I wanted to do in high school. Like, I just didn't. Like, just like everybody else. I was a B+ student. I was okay. And I went to Nassau Community College. It's a community college here on Long Island. And I did really well there. Like, I did very well. But while I was there for 2.5 years, usually people do associates in 2 years. I did 2.5. Different story. So from that, and doing so well, it got me into SUNY Binghamton, and SUNY Binghamton is an incredible program, and their School of Management is second to none, at least in this part of the country, and especially in the state of New York, because you're paying state of New York fees. And my college education was extremely inexpensive, and it has paid me tremendous dividends down the road, right? I mean, I'm one of the lucky ones that got an education that was extremely reasonably priced, like the way education's supposed to be, like invest, and then boom, right? Like now I just put my degree and stuff, like, oh, we went to Binghamton. Like, yeah, all right, great. Like, anyway, but like with all of that, I still didn't know what I wanted to do, but I wanted business. Business was always my like attraction. And with the business passion, I guess, I don't know, it was maybe more of a fascination. I think that's a better way to say it. Like, it was more of a fascination. And I'd always known, like, if I was going to do that, why not get a full understanding on the money, right? Like, why not get control over that, right? Like, why not have complete control over that for all of your clients and customers and team members and family members and whatever it is, understand that piece. So I'm like, all right, well, and not even that, like, it was a guaranteed job, like no brainer, guaranteed job. So, with that was really the like, all right, guaranteed job. And then, wanting to do that with business, again, I didn't know it would lead me to here. Like, I wanted to be partner. Like, I wanted to be partner at a firm. Like, that was one of my goals up until 2 years ago, and it just, things change and people change, and that's okay. Like, you don't apologize for that. I had no idea I would be here. This is my house. Like, this used to be my baby's room. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm working from home. Like I showed you, I got a nice shirt on, but I'm wearing pajama pants. Like, you know how awesome that is? Like, it's incredible. Like, I was wearing pajama. I showered for you, like, that's
right.
I mean, I put the shirt on, but like,
awesome.
That's what I wanted. And that's what I decided to do. And, I didn't get into the School of Management at Binghamton right away, but I did eventually get in, and I got my degree. I did 6 years in college. So I did 2.5 years at community college, and I did 3.5 years at Binghamton. I graduated in 2005, and I got my CPA exam in 2012. So like, that's kind of the quick part of it. Again, it's not like, oh, I'm dying to be an accountant, and honestly, guys, like, I wasn't that great in Binghamton. Like, I didn't go to class a lot. Like, like I did, but like I studied, like I did okay. Like I did okay. Like, but, and I guess I kind of regret that. Like, I don't have a lot of regrets in life. I kind of regret not building a better network in Binghamton. Like, I really should have done a much better job building a network in Binghamton. Okay. But I chose to just party and smoke pot and drink and just, do whatever. And I did my work, but it was just, I didn't do the extracurriculars, like I didn't do like the team study meetings, like I didn't do any of that stuff. Like, I didn't really participate in class that much. I came to class, did my thing, bounced out, and just went back to my dorm room to play Tiger Woods golf. Like, that's, what I wanted to do. But, honestly, I didn't even know I wanted to stay in this profession really until after I left my first firm. And when I knew I wanted to make this as a career, like a legitimate, like, I'm going to do this, was September 2017. Like, that was just a year ago. I'm 37 years old. I've been in practice for 13 years. Like, I started in 2005. Like, it's going to be 13 years in a month. Like, that's a long time. And my career has been very interesting, at least for my perspective and network of people. Like, not a lot of people have kind of done that. Like, I've changed careers like 4 times. Like, I was in audit, then I went to a super small firm, learned business and tax, and then, and then went to a bigger firm and like really learned how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so again, like, I could have stayed at both spots, but I didn't. Like, I just learned a little bit more. Like, and if you looked at my LinkedIn profile, like, I didn't puddle jump. I mean, I put a service in, I put 3 years, solid. Except for my last job, but that's a different story. That just didn't work out. But from that short opportunity, I'm like, I can definitely do this, man. Like, this is the quality out there. Like, this is what people are doing. Like, oh, dude, I'm going to crush this. Yeah, and that's when awesome. That's when I had the confidence. But my goal for this interview is to get people excited about this super freaking boring thing. Like, this is where I am, right? This is what I have done. I know people want to do that. And I had said this too, like, if I was CEO of a big accounting firm and I wanted the younger profession to be interested and motivated and inspired to become a partner at that firm in 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it is, you got to make that look a little bit more enticing. Like, when they're staying at work as late as I am and they look freaking miserable and like the only thing they love is going golfing, like that's their outlet, and they're driving nice cars, but not like ridiculously nice cars, and they're tired. Why to make $500,000 a year? Shit, man, you and I can do this. We might be able to make $250 just by doing this stuff. And that might not even be, you know what I'm saying? Like, that might be fairly attainable in a very short period of time. But that being said, why would I want that? Like, if I were the boss in these big firms, I would make sure my partners are in the office minimally, nice tan, driving sick cars, not like BMWs. Like, I'm talking Ferraris, Lambos, nice. Right? Like, and then this way, Juan and I like, hells yeah, I want that. Like, that's what I want. I'm going to crush it. I'm going to work 90-hour weeks. I'm going to sacrifice everything because that's the promised land. That's where I want to be. But that's not what exists. It's not reality.
It's not.
It doesn't exist. And you and I are from different parts of the country, but we're on the exact same page. This is coast to coast, north and south, man. Like, this is just the way it is. So that's why we're on to something. And me tapping into my feeling for business led us here. And maybe, and people choose finance because it's easier. Don't do it. Like, you're choosing numbers because you feel numbers. You're choosing finance because it's easier. Don't do that. It sucks, guys. Like, it's fucking hard. Just deal with it. Like, you have to put in your time. Learn the book. I promise you, like, if you learn the books and records, debits and credits, you force yourself to learn that stuff. You guys are going to study for the CPA exam anyway. You know how much harder that is in college? Like, and I had a kid, man. No, I didn't have a kid. I had a house and I was married. I was about to have a kid, right? Yeah. Wow. Like, and I know people that have studied and passed with kids. Like, that's even harder, you know? Like, the exam is a beast. I failed a ton of times, man. Like, it took me over 2 years to do it, but I did it, you know? And again, like, the goal here is, like, you asked me the specific question. This is how my path was. That's not everybody, man. Like, some people just stay. And if you want to be at that corporate level and stay at KPMG for the next 2 decades, it's great. I'm guessing and I'm betting and I'm all in on the fact that that's not the case. And you don't want to be. And they're not making this platform enticing. And again, this is something I've said for years, and this is going to piss a shitload of people off. Fuck it. I don't care, man. Like, this needs to be said. I've said this stuff forever, and it needs to be said. And like I was talking about one of my mentors and my partner before, like, he is in his 60s, and he agrees with me. Like, there are really legitimate accountants out there, like people that I know and trust, and even the ones that have been mentors for me in the past. Like, don't think for one second that you know who I'm talking about. Like, that is extremely valuable, and I know most of you agree. It's just, leaving is not easy, man. Like, people hate change. That's my advice, man. Like, if you want to do numbers, then just do the accounting. Suck it up. Deal with it. You got to go to a big firm or something substantial, but like, try to find your niche and honestly challenge these guys. When you go to work at these firms, those managers, they're not that great. Okay. You're great. You can do it. Ask questions, you know what I'm saying? Challenge them. Like, I've felt insecure. I've been on the receiving end of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when your staff are asking like questions and they're technical and you don't know the answer, and you're like, oh, I got to know the answer. And like, you give a bad answer and like and then they challenge you on something later. You're like, God damn it. It's like a muscle, you know? And that happens too, but that's a good thing. And guys like me, that should be a constructive criticism, because just because you're a partner doesn't make you any better than that intern at all. Like, that intern is just as valuable to your organization, because that intern has ideas and thoughts and network and opportunity and potential. And it is the responsibility of the older people, the older generation, the partners, the people that run this place. It is your absolute duty and responsibility to tap into that potential in these kids and pull that out and extract it so your current firm can be sustained. Listen, brother, I think in my opinion, I think all these firms are going to merge soon. I'll put it on. Like, I'll mark it here, 2000, whatever it is. In my opinion, I think there's going to be like a Big 10, Big 12, and that's it. Like, you know, the Baker Tillys and the Friedmans and the Weisers and Cone Resnick, whatever it is. It's not sustainable. Like, the overhead is ridiculous. Like, these guys have long-term leases. Like, and again, how much more are you going to cut these fees? And another thing, like
that's
please.
crazy. Yeah. So at the highest levels, so someone like you can come out and sustain an awesome life. You can make more than you would have made at any firm because, well, employees, anywhere in any business though, they just don't make what they're supposed to make. A lot of employees, but I mean, I'm not gonna say that everyone can just come out and be an entrepreneur. They can definitely give it a try. I wouldn't tell anyone to not try. Go ahead and give it a shot. How do you know? And in a space like accounting, if you're gonna be as experienced as Justin, I've seen a lot younger folks come out of the firm track to start their own firms, sure. But in a space like accounting, Justin was right. You got to know the fundamentals to then really do a lot of damage on anything else. Because if not, there's going to be too many times where you're looking silly, right? Or messing up books, messing up situations. Maybe.
There's pressure.
Yeah.
There's pressure on that. I get it.
I was going to say, depending on who you have around you, because if I actually, if I started my own firm, if I stayed with PwC for three to 5 years, right, then not marketing, but started my own accounting firm, I wouldn't be ready to start and look really good. So I would actually get a few older partners to also jump ship with me. That's what I would do. Justin doesn't.
That's hard to do, man. Like,
right.
I've tried to like go down that avenue because I respect a lot of my former partners and I love them and they've been a tremendous asset to my career now. But like guys, we just get at it. Go to South Carolina. Like, we got this book of business, man. Like, we're writing us all this shit, but like, people, again, you got this retirement plan, and that's just don't get sucked into that. Like, don't feel like just because you. Like, a lot of people take job like, oh, well, there's a pension after 20 years. Like, do you know how long 20 years is? Like, you're going to sacrifice yourself, your life to this for 20 years to just live towards retirement. And look, if that's what you want, that's great. And like you said, like, not everyone's entrepreneurial. Everyone might want to be an entrepreneur, but not everyone's entrepreneur. But having a marketing, tool like yourself, right? Like having the content that I can tap into, making it your own. One of my former bosses had always said to me, like, over my career, I'm going to take pieces from every boss and partner I've had, and I'm going to make it my own. And he nailed it. And it's exactly correct. And with that, it provides everyone else that same opportunity, number one. But number two, there's your marketing platform, right? Juan's got this, like, CPA PrimeTime has all this great stuff that I can tap into, and then I can make it my own. I can do my own marketing, and it's a lot of time and work because Justin said it, Juan said it. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of investment. You're seeing the final product. But then also you have me who's teaching you how to do your books and records. And again, like, I don't mind doing it. Like, yours is different. Like, I can do it quickly because it's debits and credits. And there's a guy out there that does the debits and credits. Mm-hmm. Man, is that boring. But anyway, like sorry, like, I shouldn't have done that. But anyway, like, I can give that. And now you know how to do the inner workings, right? You have a technical, tactical skill that you love, whether it's baking bread or cupcakes or, offering, life counsel coaches, whatever it is, right? Cleaning service. And now you know how to grow that. Like, you know how to put yourself on social. And over a month, a year, 10 years, whatever it is, one of a couple of things are going to happen. I touched on this before, right? You keep me as your bookkeeper. You're the marketer, right? Like, over time, you're going to grow, and then they hire somebody new to do it full time. Or you just always have that companion, like that person you can trust. And honestly, you can't trust me. You don't know me. Mm-hmm. You don't. you know, and I'm pissing people off, man. So like, there's a lot of people that don't like me right now, you know, and I'm telling you, like, you know, it just, and that is what it is. But I think if you have those two pieces, right, and know that you have a certified person, right, like a professional, a certified public accountant, right, somebody that understands the white collar world from the inner workings, right, like in those, like, you know, those big meetings, those sensitive meetings, like I've seen a lot of stuff, you know, and again, that's given me the confidence to know that I can do this. But like, when you have that comfort, well, then you feel like you can do anything, because even legally speaking, right, like anything like that, we're all networking, we're all building, and that's, it's really easy. Like, all you got to do is just find that person, and it's not going to be you or me. It's just not going to be. But you know what we can do? We can help point you in the right direction, right? You can drive social media engagement to try to develop that for yourself. And, you know, Vaynerchuk says this too. Like, and I've boosted posts on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. It's super cheap, like really super cheap, you know, and I'm pretty sure that's how, probably might even be the reason why you and I connected. And you said it before, it's just getting over that hump. And honestly, you're right. Like, who cares? Like, you know, just be yourself. And even if it sucks, who gives a crap? You know, like, you did it, you know, and a lot of people say that to me. And look, and I'm no different. I look at stuff and like, oh my God, that's terrible. But that's me. 100 million other people don't. And that's great. Right. Like, there, you know, it is what it is. And I think with what we are doing and what others are doing, it's interesting. I think it's going to be an interesting next few years from that, because again, Gary Vee is really inspiring a lot of young people. Like, I think he even said in his book, like, kids are now taking like 2 years after high school to legitimately try to make it on Instagram. Like, wow. Like, now where's the value of higher education? Like, holy crap. Like, are you kidding me? Like, and they can make several hundred, like, these kids might be making more than me just posting stupid freaking videos on Instagram. And I'm looking at this like even like my kids, like, we're watching this stuff on YouTube. I'm like, what are you watching? Like, this is entertaining to you, but what does it matter? In my opinion, what I think is completely irrelevant. What matters is the market. What matters is where the attention's going. That's where the attention's going. That's why you and me are doing this, to bring attention to this, to help the people. We will get business. We will. Yeah. But more importantly, we're going to be an epilogue to somebody's story, right? We're going to be like everybody quotes Gary Vaynerchuk, right? And Gary Vaynerchuk doesn't know all the people he inspired, and I'm one of them. You know, like, I don't like sit there and obsessively watch his videos, but it's nice to, like, I'll check. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, that's good. You know, like, and just knows, like, all right, this guy's done this. I'm on the right track. You know, like, I mean, it's that hustling mentality. And I've done this for a year, man. I'm doing social media. I have 3 different businesses I've formed. I'm working with other philanthropy companies. Like, I'm doing social media for 2 other businesses on 4 different platforms, plus these videos, doing stuff like this. I got more capacity. I can do more. You know, because I have people that I can trust to do the other things. And that's, you know, if you want this, you gotta build a team. Right. Yeah. And I think even for you talk about doing more real quick, like, you could be doing more. I think what a lot of people don't think about, even some of the people that might watch my content very closely. I mean, I could say I could be doing more. And now, actually, coming up in this, in Q4, you'll see how my Instagram page will change. And it was kind of, it was planned that way from the first month to 2 months. I mean, my content wasn't so crazy, and there wasn't a lot of it. Not in the first two. There's a lot on. Right? I don't know, man. Like, I gotta give credit. There's a lot on there. I mean, now there is. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Now there is, and it's going to get even more busy, right, in Q4. What people don't realize is, instead of doing more of that, that's setting up myself for the future, sure. But what I got to make money. Yeah, what I do, I mean, to make money, to make the relationships to the people that I'm talking today, I am in the DMs, on messages. Even more so, I'm in the DMs a lot, because the accountants do reach out to me on Instagram. That's a big environment for me that I don't have right now on LinkedIn. But on LinkedIn, they watch my stuff anyway. They just don't like and comment on it, because, you know, their whole network is going to see
they were looking at crazy marketing stuff Juan was saying, right? But I do keep so many much more conversations in LinkedIn messages. And so that's a lot of time. That's like an hour. I probably spend more than an hour today just doing that, because I know that there's someone that's going to want, it's going to end up in a pitch that I'm going to make next week, probably. Like that's how it goes down. And it doesn't go down with just a few messages. It goes down with sending out specific messages for an hour. Like really. And so,
yeah. And some are going to hit, some are. I've done that before too.
Yeah.
That's really degrading. Like, cause like even some people don't respond to you. Like, oh,
they just look. They just read it.
And look, that hurts. Like, don't think for 2 seconds that doesn't hurt. Like it does, but whatever, man. Like it is what it is. Like honestly, people don't care. Like, they don't. Everyone's in their own world, right? Like LinkedIn is like the incubator for unoriginal, regurgitated, recycled content. Like,
yeah, come on.
I mean, it's just people do that, and the people that really do it, like it's fine to share something, but then give your point, right? Like this is a really great article, tax reform and just different strategies that you can take. Like really talks about the deductions and what changed, and I really enjoyed it. And even as a CPA, I actually learned a thing or two. So check it out. I'm sure you'll like it. That's something. Not my firm posted an article and like, hey, this is a great read.
Yeah.
Says you? Okay, no, thanks. Like, are you going to get me excited, right? You're going to get me a little pumped about it. You're going to be like, oh, all right, this is something I might be able to learn. And it's taxes, right? So, I mean, I'm obviously making this up. It's imaginary land. Like, it's fucking total fantasy. It doesn't exist. Yeah. Nobody gets excited about taxes. But yeah, I mean, that's why you got to do what you're doing. It's why I got to do, because it's original. Like, it's us. It's us.
And look, so you just talked about what you just said right now. That was a perfect example of information versus insight, whereas they don't care about the information that much, so they can actually Google, because now you told them that it exists, right? So they don't even need you now. But if you put your insight behind it, and your insight is good, I hope it is, whatever you're talking about out there, then people are going to say, okay, this person, this guy or gal knows their stuff, right? And it doesn't even have to be, people get so caught up with, oh, Justin is putting out stuff, Juan is putting out stuff, what do I need to put out? If you want business, like next week, I just talked about being in the messages, right? Here's another thing. Here's another quick tip, free content that even my clients do. We find someone on LinkedIn, an influencer in the space that has connections with other people you want to connect with. Instead of sharing your own stuff and putting insights on your own stuff, do that, fine. But what's really going to get it, when it's really, things are going to get really crazy when you find this specific influencer that you're commenting on and you're telling so much truth that this,
and they buy in.
Yeah. So many people in their network see what you're saying. The influencer sees, people in the influencers network, they see people that have never heard about you before. They now see that you know what you're talking about. I do this. You guys watch me.
Sounds like I do.
Guys, you watch me. If you've watched anything I do on Instagram, I comment on people's stuff on LinkedIn, leave a really insightful comment. Then it's not a waste to comment, even if they don't respond, because I screenshot it, then I share it on Instagram, then people talk about it so much on Instagram, right?
Content. You're producing content. And I have a library of stuff that I haven't used yet, like just different ideas and thoughts. Like,
I bet,
because not posted in a year.
Yeah, I looked at you recording yourself, the first intro video that you made on your YouTube. I looked at you recording yourself, and that's why I said, wow, this guy is probably sitting on content where he's just been recording himself. And I encourage that. You should, because there's just so much that can happen out of that. But go ahead.
It's just a lot of time, man. Like, it just takes time. Like, these videos are hard, and like, I got to make money too. Like, I have a big client that I work a lot on, you know what I'm saying? Like, I put in a lot of hours and I have staff, and it's tax season. Like, I only have one tax return to do, but still, like, it's an important return, and I got to put the time and attention into it. But I do, like, because you saw that a lot of that stuff was just me getting comfortable. And the funny thing is, like, I was watching some videos and I'm like, you know what, man, this cutting stuff can't be that difficult. Let me see. So I had all that stuff. And the goal, honestly, my only goal was to like just figure out the cutting.
Yeah.
And then I saw the cool graphics and
Yeah,
like,
you made it. You start.
you know, like the video, and I'm animated. Like, you know, I got all this stuff in the background. Like, this is me. Like, none of these guys are paying me, but like some of these are my friends and my family and like stuff that I support and I love, you know. And like, I was just doing that, and then it became a commercial. Like, even when I was in it I did it like 5-6 hours. Like, I was until 2:00 in the morning. The last one I didn't finish till 3, because like that's just when my creative juices go. And like when you start it, you gotta finish it. Like I gotta bring it to the point where like either I'm mentally exhausted or I have no more juice in me, and that might be 2 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever it is, you know? But like, it was fun, and I liked it. And I had a freaking panic attack after I posted it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God. And like, you know, 500 people have seen it, or like, oh my God, you know, and then I have 1 dislike on my other video. I hope, I don't, whatever it is, you disliked it. You honestly, I was more excited about the dislike than anything.
Yeah.
But in the same sense, like, you know, whatever. I lost my train of thought, but
okay, Justin. So we'll end it off like this. Then I think we could go on all day. I think you should make your own show. In fact, and I think you. I always tell everyone that, and then they freak out. They make the face that you're making right now. They're like,
no, I'm sure you see. I'm always making.
They're like, my own show. Here's the absolute easiest thing to do. It's exactly what I'm doing. Like, come on, I have hour-long discussions with accountants all the time, talking about the same stuff. Just maybe if I'm unlucky, it's unrecorded, right? So then I just turned it into a podcast where we almost talk about the same stuff, except, it's more of a show, right? It's much more of a show. It can be, but if you want to get really simple, it can be a phone call with either the people in your industry, right? The business owners in your industry, talking about maybe financial woes in your industry. Maybe this person is so experienced in an industry that you serve, where they back you up on, okay, hey guys, you younger guys, you startups, first year to 5 years, yeah, you got to have your books right. You got to use someone like Justin, right? Because I have, accountants come on my show, accountants, my target market, and tell the other accountants, come on, you guys need to use someone like Juan, right? So that's what they're going to say for you.
Well, not even that, even you and I, maybe we work together down the line too, right? Because you're doing this, you're connecting with your customer. I am a prospect of yours. Let's not, let's call it what it is. I mean, there's no doubt about that, but that's why we're doing this. Maybe you would, maybe you don't. But if you want to start doing that, it's not, you're right. Like I have this camera here. Like this is my personality. I mean, this is just me being me. Like anyone that's known me and known me to have an office, I've always had stuff, had stuff hanging up. Like it's just who I've been. But I even got this nice little microphone here. You didn't even see, like it was like $60 on Amazon. And because I'm trying to do it good. I want to do good stuff. If you're going to do it, you want to do it because it's good, right? And it's your creativity. And like you were saying before, I do have a bunch of stuff, and I have ideas on what I want to do. I have this picture that I took a month ago. I just messed up this microphone, of course. There we go. I have a picture that I took a month ago, and it's still in my mind. I'm going to post it on Instagram. It's going to happen. It's just, I haven't had the time. There's just a piece missing, and that's the exciting stuff. I'm really creative.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I can't wait till you put it out, because I had this picture that I wasn't going to put out. I thought about making it. I thought about the idea for a couple of days. I said, okay, I made it on my phone with my little, just simple graphic design. And I said, okay, I don't know if they'll like this stuff. So guys out there, you can't say, oh, this is going to be the video or this is going to be the picture that they like, because that picture that I was talking about, it's maybe I'll put it up. This one, this picture, wherever it is, it says something about accountants are not valued by the industries that they serve, that they bring extreme value to. Change my mind. And then it has it's Photoshopped my face in some guy on campus or something like that.
You had fun doing it.
But yeah, and more importantly, so many other accountants even accounting students and professionals resonated with that it got circulated in different places on Instagram, on a audit meme page as well. And then students from there, accounting students, then found my page, DM'd me, said, oh, this is really awesome. I'm going to watch all this stuff. And then in like 5 years, make a firm. Like, oh my.
Or like, whatever, right? Like whatever you need to do.
All from me deciding to put out something that I said, no, they're going to hate this. Right. So
people hate what I do. But again, like, I mean, you know, people have been saying that to me.
I don't have it figured out. Right.
Neither do I. Well, it's easier said than done too. Like way easier said than done. Like way. Like I said, I'm all excited about that dislike, but don't get me wrong. I did cry inside for like a hot minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh, okay, you know what? Fuck you, man. Like, that's actually awesome. I'm so glad someone hates my stuff because that means I'm doing something.
Exactly.
I'm doing something. Maybe it's right or wrong. But like, I wanted to comment too, like, you know, on your IG, like, you know, that's something I'm not ready to do yet. Like, you know, just doing those raw videos, like, I'm just not ready to do it. If you look at my Facebook page, it's like the very first video I posted on CPA Enterprises, but I haven't done it since. I don't know why, like I just haven't. Maybe it's because I have these other things, but like that's cool. Like that's also very important. And just to piggyback on that, like from an Instagram success story, I don't know if you saw it, but I had posted a video. I went to Ben's Deli. I was driving around between clients, and I went to Ben's Deli. It's a kosher deli here in Long Island, and I love the brisket. Like they have that. I just freaking love that stuff. You know, I'm Irish, so like the Irish and the Jews kind of have like a synergy between meals. Like we both do corned beef, really good, you know, and like I just love that place. So like I felt good. I was in a good mood. I'm like, I'm gonna post a good picture. Like I never post pictures of food, and I was just experimenting with the tagging, right? Like just trying to tagging in the hashtags. Like you gotta experiment to see what works. So I tagged Ben's Deli. I tagged them in the picture. They DM'd me, thanked me. They commented on the Instagram, and then DM'd me and thanked me and asked me for my mailing address so they can send me a $25 gift card to Ben's Deli.
Awesome.
Right? Like, how cool is that? By the way, I still haven't received it, and that was like. So what's going on, Ben's? Like, wait, you sending me this thing or not? Because I'm sitting here plugging you guys, and you know I ain't getting no love. So you know,
get him his gift card. Come on.
How freaking cool is that? Like, I was like, this is all. I mean, that's money. I love Ben's. I'm gonna go there and spend it anyway. Like, so what? It's a gift card. It's just as good as cash.
Yeah, that's really awesome, and I think a lot of things like that even can happen at an insane scale, or it doesn't have to be money, but. I would ask this question to everyone listening. Forget the United States, forget the entire space. If just the people in your city, especially if you're an accountant, what's the ROI of being the most well-known accountant in your city? Not known for skill, even if you have the best skills, I don't care, because I just told you about the kids. I just told you about the kids that only care about marketing that don't have the skills. So what's the ROI of being the most well-known accountant in your area? They can't even put a number on it. Life-changing.
Right now? Today? Are you asking me today? That's a question, right? You're asking me what is?
No, unless you're already the most well-known. But
no, you're asking what the ROI is, and I got to tell you honestly, right now, zero. Like I think it's zero right now because as I drive, and I don't know where this is in the country. Like I don't know how. I'm just going to talk about Long Island where I drive around.
Go ahead.
I know a lot of places, and the reason why I know them is because they're so well known, and I know the industry, and they're not positive things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like. There's a firm here on Long Island that I will not name that has a couple of locations, and they're one of the most well-known, and they're not good. They're not a good place to work. They're not good to grow your career. They don't have good leadership, and they are one of the most well-known firms out there. So currently, in my opinion, and again, this is like the theme. I guess this was the unexpected theme of our video here, our interview here.
Unexpected extra time.
Yeah, but the value, right? Like the value of the industry, like the value of nothing, cost of something, like what is the, and I think that's also, you know, part of it, you know, just because of how that industry is shaped, right? Like it's just, people are going to look at me, they're going to look at my brand, they're going to be like, this guy's just another accounting firm, right? Like he's just another young hustler, like he's got a good personality and whatever, he's just going to, but I'm technical too. Like that's why I was excited about this, because we talked a little bit more technical, right? Because I know my shit. Like don't challenge me, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You want to underestimate me? Good luck to you. Like a lot of people have over the last year.
Yeah.
They're not doing so good. So good luck to you. But in the
exactly.
same,
love it.
Right. No, but again, you know, right, exactly. But like, you know, who the hell am I? I'm just another one, right? So until there's a fuel of like, you know, this type of accounting work, right? Because if I might have mentioned this before, but it's worth repeating. If I do my job perfectly, the tax return is just a commodity, because it is. The tax return's easy. All the hard stuff is between the year. The tax return is taking the numbers that you perfected from January to December and drawing it in a return. And most of my clients just file 1 or 2, 3 states. It's pretty easy. I don't do that big corporate stuff. You know what I'm saying? But like, that's how I do my job. That's how I do it well, right? When I promote that more and more and get more and more positivity along with the negativity, right? Because the negativity is good too, because it allows me to comment on that. And maybe the perception was different. Most obviously it was, but at least it gives me an opportunity to just not really like defend or just say like, this is what I saw, you know, like this was, you know, coming from me, and that's kind of the way it was. But until that changes, and maybe there's a lot more people like me out there. I'm hoping there is, you know, I really hope, because I want to partner with those folks. And I thought you know, even here on Long Island, there's some young firms, they're just doing the same thing. Like they're just copy and pasting, and they're doing the churn and burn, and that's great. And they're going to make money, but they're not going to scale a brand. They're not going to sell their firm. Like it's just not. I'm going to buy them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to buy you eventually, because you just
it's going to run out.
You're going to run out. You know what I'm saying? And until that happens, I think you and I can revisit this conversation, and you can re-ask me what the ROI is, and maybe I'll have a better answer for you. Because I think by then you're going to start seeing a change. I mentioned this before. I think these firms are going to merge. The supply of baby boomer accounting firms is already starting to flood the market, and these dudes have a totally unrealistic expectation of what their book of business is worth. It's not 1 or 1.5. Like it's a quarter, you know what I'm saying, or a half, or maybe 3/4 at best, because they are ancient. Their book of business is old. You know, I'd have to get all this administrative costs, you know what I'm saying? So that's why having this, building this with you, finding others, right? Like, and again, I have a team behind me. Don't think for 1 second I'm this young guy, I don't know my shit. I got people behind me. All right. I got people I advise with, I talk with, I vet out everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm like the quarterback of the financial function. I don't sign my tax returns. I have a guy that does it. You know what I'm saying? He's like one of the best staff I've ever had. I love this guy, and I pay him directly. That's the way. I'm like the general contractor of the accounting function. You know what I'm saying? That's ROI. That's value. That's opportunity. I feel that's, and you know, that's forward thinking stuff. And we're going to have a much different conversation in 2 years. I think we're going to be able to look back on this and see all of these guys. My old firm, by the way, is up for sale. Like I drove by it the other day, and the building's up for sale. So if you guys are selling your firms now, you better sell them now, because people, I mean, that's the thing, Juan, and I'll stop here. But like, people are dying at their desks, literally. I know a lot of professionals that know other professionals, and I know a couple of them. Like these, you hear these stories they are dying at their desks in the middle of tax season.
In the office, yep.
That's not okay. And you know why? Because people are money hungry, right? Pigs get slaughtered, hogs get fed. That's just kind of the old thing. And I want to be a farming hog. You know, like I want to be, you know, I don't want to be Napoleon in Animal Farm, even though Snowball didn't really work out. But I want to be Snowball, but I want to be Snowball and be successful. Like I'm dropping an Animal Farm reference right now, but that's, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see. Time will tell. Sorry.
So check this out. And here's the crazy thing. Me and Justin and I just went on an almost 2-hour just rant discussion. Some awesome points were discussed. But when I had to do something just now, so you'll see a cut. Justin went to go get water. And in the midst of that, I checked my phone. Here's the cool thing, because this is literally happening to me right now, and I can tell you guys on camera. So Justin, if you wouldn't mind, just because I just hate to take so much of your time, but if you have the time here, I think this will be really valuable for everyone. So,
I'm good
I
for a little
mean,
bit.
so here's the thing, guys. I think having a lot of content like Justin is going to have, like I do and my clients do, it's not going to necessarily, unless you put it out a lot like me, people aren't necessarily going to be coming to you. You do have to go out to them. But the cool thing is when, let's say, a cold call happens at a certain point, or maybe you have a big offer on the table and it's against someone, it's for a company or a client or a job that has no clue who you are. On the first phone call, if you try to close them, it's going to be pretty hard. Okay. And so I'm an awesome closer, even if no one
I suck.
knows
I do. I suck
that's
at
completely
closing.
fine.
I just do.
I'm awesome to accountants, okay? And then we get to the real salespeople, maybe, hey, they know a bit more. And I'll actually have different salespeople and experts on my show, actually. But I tried to close this big, they weren't in the accounting space. They were in the financial space, and I still serve certain companies or industries in the financial space. Anyway, huge financial provider for a certain type of financial instrument, okay? They're trying to get all these people in their plan. So they told me, they called me up basically and they said, hey, you talk to a lot of CPAs. Why don't you sell them this? I said, no. I said, no, I'm not going to sell them anything like this on the back end, but I will help you out with your company and your marketing. They said, oh, but you can make so much money kind of having this affiliate deal for free, right? So what I would have to do is for free at first, have to then dilute my brand by saying to my clients and all my CPAs, hey guys, I have this special, different, weird opportunity for you. Okay. And
I know nothing about, but they're paying me like, $1,000 a month, and you're just going to buy it because I do. And wait, who are you?
Exactly. And so stuff like that online, it can mess up your brand. But the point I wanted to get to,
unless that's the brand you want to build, right? Which is
I have some clients that do care about sponsors and back end products that they can sell being all over their stuff. Things that I tell them we could do that. I just hope you know that's that'll stunt some growth, right? Just because people won't necessarily just come to your stuff like they will for me. I'm not predicting anything, but that's the strategy I'm playing here. The reason I'm giving out all this stuff for free, saying different tips, and the reason Justin's doing it is so that we can grow faster than normal. Okay. We're trying to grow faster than normal here. Okay. Let me get back on track. I mean, I told them, okay, here's the price. I gave them a price for me to work with them on their marketing, right? They said, they even multiplied it by 10. They said, it's not about the price. Come on. It's not about the price. We really just want you. We don't know what we're getting. So we really just want you to work for free. Then we'll see if we can do it. I said, no, I don't. That's something I don't do. I give them a bunch of reasons why, whatever. We ended the call, but because I'm connected with one of their VPs, right? She sees a lot of my stuff. That very week, she saw a piece of content. I told them on the call, I said, okay, well, if you think, I can even afford to spend time working for free. Actually, I'm sending you some content right now of some of my stuff, because the reason they're giving me, they said, well, we don't know what we're getting. We don't know who you are. And then so I kind of, instead of trying to damage the situation by closing or burning the bridges, I simply make them on the phone. I bring them to my funnel, right? So that they can start, so that my content is selling them gradually for me. And now, just in a post I made one day ago about the CPA PrimeTime show, kind of, if you see my content, it kind of has a flashy I put it on both Instagram and LinkedIn. It's a post that says new CPA PrimeTime every Sunday. And then it has like flashing green and blue. So on LinkedIn, there's 318 views, whatever, 4 likes. I don't care about that stuff. But the woman from the company that I'm talking about, she commented on LinkedIn and she said, we would fit right in with this content. Just saying, right? So this company that told me no at the beginning on the phone call, that I think I can serve in their space, not in a weird way, but actually having them as a client and making them spend money for the marketing, because they're a big company that wanted me to work for free. And I definitely didn't want to do that. Now they are very, very much in my funnel. I mean, I'm just here. They're watching me, and whether I tell them yes or no, they can be on the show or they can't be on the show. I mean, they're very interested in what I'm doing. And then so that's how a no is not the first couple of no's don't even matter. If you're really in business, if you're really about business, come on. Like, there's a reason they're saying no. Either they really just don't need the product, but if they do, then I would bet, which was the case with this one, that they don't know enough, especially if you're an accountant, right? So that happened to me right now. I just wanted to give that example, because I mean, when you start making content and people do tell you no on the phone, well, then you pass them to your content that, guess what, in your space, you're making the best stuff. So
you nailed it. And not even that too. Like, if people have those questions, you can just say, hey, you want to know how to form a corp? Go look at my YouTube page. I did a video of it last month.
Yeah.
Right.
Killer.
And that's right. And that's it. But, look, I mean, bartering is fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do that sometimes, especially with small businesses. And I know you're supposed to report that, guys. It's small. Don't come on. It's a peanuts. It's not, don't worry.
Under $500.
Yeah, it's a few $100 and it's an investment in them, because I don't want to take their money, like, I mean, it is what it is, but I mean, I can get some stuff from them and that can help me, and, all of that good stuff. But working for free is something I used to do. I said that before. I'm not doing that anymore. Like, it's just not happening. The only way I'm working for free is when I do this stuff. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. And the charity I work with goes around.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a Canadian-based philanthropy company. It's a technology company. But I'm the treasurer, and I don't get a salary because I'm investing my time into this company. So maybe they'll sell for $100 million and I'll get a little piece of that, and that's the goal. And that's another thing about, the business too. I know we were talking about that, but it's a no today, but that's it. It's a no today. And if you don't burn the bridge and get pissed off and just whatever, like it'll be a maybe tomorrow. At least another maybe, and you keep in touch, you'll know which ones are dead. I had a consulting gig, an opportunity on the phone, and it didn't go well. Like, it doesn't really matter because, like, the fit wasn't there, and I think that's part of the reason why it didn't go well. And he was an older guy, and I wanted to replace his whole accounting system, and it just overwhelmed him. And I'm like, well, that's what I do. And like, honestly, like, I'm gonna come in and hit the ground running. Like, you're gonna pay me my hourly rate. I'm not going to sit here and let's get to work. Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, let's get to work. And I think when you show more of that, and you have more of those raw things that happen to you, and with me, I think people are like, yeah, let's go, and then the next thing you know, you get, another opportunity a month, and maybe you meet somebody else, like you're meeting CPAs, and I can connect you to a CPA. I can definitely connect you to at least one CPA, and that's it. Like, you connect me to something, I'll connect you to something. Just the way it goes. And then who knows what happens. But with that stuff, if you continue to put the positive spin on it, it's only going to pay more dividends later on as a farmer, which you are. Mm-hmm. If you close the door, say, oh, this side, we didn't really, oh, what? Then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. That's my opinion. So,
no, great stuff. And so let's go. I know we both got busy days here. I'll let you put a nice bow on this long, extended interview, okay? And tell the CPAs, the accountants out there, at least from your arsenal of Justin J. Mack philosophies, what do the accountants need to know, whether they're starting out or whether they've had a firm for 20 plus years? What does Justin think all the entire accounting world, especially entrepreneurial accountants, what do they need to know, Justin? Last words.
So in terms of the 20-year firm guys, right, they need to start looking at the future today. You got to start innovating your firm. You got to start getting it all online if you can. You got to start weeding out your clients. You got to start going through and getting rid of the crappy ones. You just need to. And you got to find a way to start servicing your better ones and prepare yourself for succession planning. I mean, look, your succession planning is not hiring me. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. So you need to start to look into the future. You need to test the market. You need to see what your firm is worth. Your firm is worth, and that's my opinion, right? I'm a young guy saying that to like people that are 10, 15 years older than me. That's my opinion. So, that's number one. And number two, again, I had said it before and it's worth repeating. If you're going to study finance, you need to go study accounting. Unless you want to be a financial advisor. It's completely different. But if you like the numbers and think that that's where you're going, you need to take accounting. You need to take accounting. Don't be afraid of the CPA exam. It sucks. Like, it just sucks. Like, if you're studying for the exam now, I failed a ton of times. It took me a long time to pass my second part, like FAR, which is one of the things. Like, I failed it like 4 times. I'm not even kidding. And I got a 74 like almost every single time. You know how depressing that is? But once I really 100% committed to this, and I did, then I passed. So I guess that's the piece of advice, right? If you're going to commit to something, just commit to it. And if you're not into it, well, then you need to rethink your life. If this is not something, I'm not saying I wake up every single day happy. Like, I don't, like nobody does. But
you're not supposed to be. You're not supposed to be happy all the time.
I certainly don't mind going to work. Like, my bedroom's right there. Like I'm looking at my bedroom, you know what I'm saying? But you can do that, but you can't do that tomorrow. Like, you can't get a degree and do that. Like, everything I've said, look at that as an opportunity, right? Like, tap in, go to your firm, whatever one recruits you, right? Ask the good questions, right? Like, ask the questions that matter to you. You should be interviewing them way more than the opposite. Without any doubt in my mind. If anything, it's almost 100% on you to look at them. But what you should be doing is looking for something that you like about this accounting profession, whether it's industry related or technical related, whatever it might be, and look for the firm that can support that just as much as you looked out for your bachelor's. Like, think of it as almost like a master's, right? LeBron James said that, right? Like, when he came back to Cleveland, he's like, the 4 years in Miami were almost like my college. Right? I mean, everyone changes, but look at that. And maybe through that opportunity at Price, you might find another niche. But I think that would be good advice. Something I look back on, and I've never even really said that before, or even thought about it. Like, this podcast really brought it out in me. So I appreciate that. But in the same sense, I think if you look at that as an addition to your career, right? Like, you're going to get your bachelor's degree in accounting, but your master's is going to be your 4 years at Price, or your 4 years, at Cone, or your 4 years at, whatever. Then what, right? You want to do what I do? Okay, you probably have enough, but do you? I don't know. Like, it's up to you, right? Like, maybe go get another one. Like, you know what? This foreign income tax is just freaking fascinating to me. Like, I absolutely love it. And, I learned my 4 years at KPMG, and I'm like, you know something? I know enough. I have a decent enough network. KPMG is a really expensive firm. I know some people that would definitely want a lower cost provider. Let me go see if I can do this. And you already know how to do most of the accounting, right? Mm-hmm. So why not go for that? Same thing. And those that are in it now, suck it up. You're there. Or quit. Don't be afraid to change. I was there. I stayed at a firm for 5 years. I probably should have quit after 3. And whatever. I mean, that's, things happen for a reason. And this is where it's brought me. I have absolutely no regrets on any. No, definitely not. No regrets on anything over my career, because it's brought me here. Maybe a couple, but like, in the same sense, it's hard. Like, it's freaking hard, man. Like, you want to make 100 million, 100,000. Like, you got to put in your time. Like, it's hard. And speaking about putting in time, you're not in jail. Like, you think that's hard time, right? Like, I mean, you're sitting there playing Fortnite or whatever the hell it is and bitching that you don't make any money, but you want to know something, you can reach out to me and you can say, hey, just like, I want to do my own books and records. Can you just give me a little advice on how to get started? Yeah, sure, man. No problem. Like, you and I talk for 45 minutes and then I never hear from you again. That's fine. No big deal. You use me, but you know what? Maybe you do. What are you doing about it? Like, you're just sitting there bitching about it. Like, come on. Like, it's just not, and that's really my advice. Like, if you're not happy, Gary Vaynerchuk says it. Like, it's not something, I mean, it's he said it. And if you're not happy, it's because of you. And it might not even be because you might have, you might suffer from mental illness, and that happens. And, I have my own things about that. And that's a different story for a different day, but that's okay. You can't be ashamed of it. But in the same sense, if it's something you can control, it is your life, your profession. Everybody has to have a job, right? Everybody needs money. You might as well at least enjoy it a little bit, and you got to find that in that industry. Otherwise, you need to leave the industry like yesterday. Like, you're going to invest all this money and time passing your CPA exam, and after a while, you're going to hate it. But like, you want to be CFO. Okay, like, what, are you just going to get CFO at a job? Like, you got to get experience, man. Like, I'm not a CFO. Like, I'm just not. Like, I'm probably more a COO, but I'm more a COO in training. And again, like, I have that title and everything, but again, it's just a title. It really doesn't mean anything. If anything, like I said before, it's part of the brand. But if you do want that stuff, you got to start somewhere, and you got to build that foundation. And that's what I said before. It starts with the bookkeeping. I'm not afraid to promote my firm, CPA Enterprises, as a predominantly bookkeeping firm. That's what I do. But I'm also the general contractor for your accounting, tax, and financial function, right? Again, it goes to the books. But, that's my advice for the young guys, the guys that are in it. Like, the exam sucks. Look, if you're going to take the exam because you want to pass it. Don't take the exam because people are telling you to. Because if you don't want to, you're going to waste your time. And if you're going to do it, just do it. I was going out on Friday nights, like going out on the weekends. Like, when I was studying, I wasn't passing. Like, making excuses during the night. Like, oh, I'm not going to study. But you know what I did? I had one part. Audit was expiring. I got a 90 on audit too, which is crazy. I got a 75 and everything else. But like, audit was expiring, and I'm like, I got to buckle down. I got married, and I'm like, boom, this is it. I studied every single night, Monday through Friday, from the time I shut my computer off at around 5 to 6 o'clock until 10 to 11 o'clock at night. Every Saturday and Sunday, I was in the library all day, 9 to 5. I took one in between tests. I took one weekend off, and I got right back to it on Monday. And I passed every part. I didn't fail another one. And that was me, though. Like, some people like don't even study and pass this thing. Like, you guys suck. Like, F you, like, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But, and again, like, that's just really it. Or the biggest thing I can do is it's just, you got to, going back to it, you got to trust in the States, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's your thing, like, you got to find a thing. And if your thing is entrepreneurship, then you got to put a realistic goal in front of you on what you want to learn, and you got to go attack that. These guys are going to teach you everything. Are you kidding me? Like, they're going to teach you all the things you want to know because they want to hire you as partner. And you know what? Maybe you buy into that. Maybe you stay there as partner, and maybe that becomes your life and your career. But if you're going to go in with that, with the expectation to go out, like, then you got to be a sponge. When you're working for your future and your future brand. You're getting paid for it today. It's almost like you and I working at a firm doing this, and then we're getting paid for it, right? It's like in the same kind of sense, but that's really it. And don't get refunds on your tax returns. Pay a little bit. Like, don't pay $200 to get your tax return prepared. Like, you can pay $1,000 to get your tax return prepared. You pay $5,000 for a mattress. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sleep on that a third of your life. And you want to know something? Like, your tax return is the most important thing you do literally every single year consistently, and it's guaranteed, right? Yeah. Wouldn't you want to spend a little bit more money than a $200 brick and mortar retail shop that does tax returns? Right. Good luck to you. Because they're at Walmart too. Like, I mean, yeah. I'm gonna go get my, I'm gonna go get my snacks and my food and my milk, and I'll get my tax return while I'm done. What? Like,
exactly.
Stupid. But that's it, And this was fun, man. I thank you for having me on, and hopefully, this can be the start of something really cool. And if it's not, I had a fun 2 hours, and it was nice getting to know you. And just for everyone's knowledge, again, you said this, you and I have never met, shook hands. Like, this is the first time we're talking face to face. And this is literally because of social media. So, the equipment's inexpensive. You can work from home these days. Why pay $8,000 a month in rent? And like you were saying before, Juan, like, go start your own firm if that's what you want. That's up to you, though. That's, that's not something Juan or myself or anyone else out there can help you with. That's all up to you. So.
Awesome, Justin. Love it. Incredibly honored that you took the extra time out, this extra entire hour that we spent. I think this will go down in history. It will go down in history as the first 2-hour episode that in the first hour we joked about making it 2 hours, and that's what actually happened. So
we'll do it again.
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah.
check out what Justin is doing on Twitter. I think his Twitter is awesome. YouTube is awesome.
My
follow
Twitter's
him.
not that awesome. My Twitter's not awesome.
I think okay, so I'll say it.
Go ahead.
I'll say this then. Regardless of the stuff coming out, regardless of what Justin's posting, pay attention to this interview. He said he was in there talking to people, meeting with people, and really that's what even matters more than putting out content. That's the first thing I go over with my clients before I talk about will branding and some kind of image help them out. I mean, how lead gen matters. I hate that word, lead generation, because nowadays you can buy leads, but how do you get the leads you want? Well, they are hanging around on Twitter sometimes.
Qualified, and you can qualify them on social media
in the messages. Yeah,
you're qualifying potential prospects at almost like you're on Tinder. You know what I'm saying? Looking for potential weekend prospects, right? Like, I mean, that's really what it is, and it's low hanging fruit, brother. And honestly, we better cut this now because we're going to go down another hole. So
let's go, man. I think what was said on here is extremely valuable. So I hope you guys found what Justin said valuable. I hope he starts his own show because it sounds like he has a lot to say. But I'll let you discover him for yourself. I'll link him down below, and hope you have a great one, guys. All right, Justin. So that's the CPA Primetime Show. Thank you, sir, for taking the time out. You know, you had an extra hour here, and I highly appreciate that. And
I pushed the meeting.
I'll circle back this week, get you that audio, and then even I'm sure we'll be talking about some more things as well. But I'll let you get this Monday, beginning of the week, out of the way now.
Yeah. So and then on my end, this is just what I'd like to do in terms of next steps and expectations. See how this does. Of course, I'd want to support all that, and what I'd like to do is just let's try to engage with each other on social as best as possible. Of course, I'll do my best to watch and consume everything you do, and even try to look back on some other things if I can take a look at some stuff. Like the first video you sent me was the one with you. It's like the hour and you're walking through the jungle or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what you sent me, like, right? And that's how we started this. Like the biggest thing in accounting is coming, and then you sent that to me. And honestly, at first I thought you were some robot from India,
Right.
And then I said back in Twitter, right? Like this is the biggest thing that's happening in accounting. And
awesome.
That would be my expectation of you. We can cut this now. Where do you live again? Down
San
Florida?
Jose, West Coast.
All right. Well, we'll talk. We'll be in touch. Okay. This was great. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Like, honestly, like this was really fun. I appreciate you feeling my energy. I appreciate you feeling what I was providing.
Yeah.
Like, really it's passionate about this shit. Like I've been talking about a lot of it for a long, long time. I really feel like this is part of what I'm going to give back to the world. So you're providing me with that platform, and I can't thank you enough for it. So.
Awesome. Thanks for adding value to my platform. And I'm sure it's something that if here's a cool thing I'll tell you right now. You can use it if you like the interview. You can just say, hey, here are my thoughts when you need it, right?
Oh, I'm going to.
That's what has helped me out. And that you'll find that once you make more content on different types of situational thoughts, you can link people right away and just let them know
in a month to 6 weeks, okay, I'm going to be your most watched interview by like 4 times.
Okay.
That's my goal. My goal is to get, like, say your biggest one is 100, mine's going to be 400. That's
awesome.
All right. So we can do that, and then we can do more of this. And maybe one day, like what you're saying before too, like I'm going to have a trust and estates guy here one day, like a life insurance guy, like a health insurance guy, like people that I know have a little personality.
Right. That's really cool.
Try to do something like that, but I'm going to try it all. This was awesome. I actually have another one lined up, and I actually have something else that hit my inbox. So we'll do this again. I have one CPA in mind that I want to introduce you to. That might be also a good guest, and we'll talk throughout the week. All right, man?
Sounds good. All right, Justin. Have a great day.
You too, buddy.